Ladies and gentlemen, it's another Speed Paint. This time we have Scott's mutual crush, his and Mason's other best friend, and the voice of reason to their whole crew, Brooklyn Alvarez. Originally born as Elena Alvarez, her name was changed to Brooklyn Wickens upon being adopted at 3 years old, following a fatal fire that burned down her family home and left her the scar on her left cheek. She liked the name Brooklyn, but after the breach, she denied the Wickens name and took up Alvarez again. She'd always been proud of her heritage, but she grew attached to her changed first name after being called it for most of her life, and by her closest friends. She's always been the one to reel those two idiots in. Although they were both certainly intelligent, as was she, Scott was emotional and impulsive, and Mason had a notable weakness for that side of Scott. Brooklyn, of course, then steps in to make sure Mason starts using his head, and making sure Scott doesn't go overboard if she can't stop them altogether. When Scott's calm, though, she can always tell there's more going on beneath the surface. Mason, on the other hand, has always been able to confide in her, even things he wouldn't dare say to Scott. Outside reeling those two in, she always joined them in gaming sessions, but wasn't quite as good as them. She was always more of a reader, often found leaning into Scott as she enjoys a good book in his company, even as he rages against whatever game is taunting him at the time. She gets deep into mythology and sci-fi, and partly due to having been pulled away from her family culture at a young age, she took to studying world cultures, native Central American especially, but a lot of everything. Her losses and frankly ignorant adoptive parents also inspired her to look into social work, child psychology, and laws regarding children's rights. Her adoptive parents wanted her to study plenty, but they weren't quite attentive enough to care about what she was studying, so long as it was academic. And seeing her with any kind of law books kept them satisfied. Physically, though, she would often take morning jogs to wake herself and stay fit, but before the breach, that was about it. Until her parents moved to Philadelphia for business purposes in her junior year, and suddenly decided she needed to be monitored more heavily. Partly to be sure she didn't ruin the family name somehow. Beforehand, that wouldn't have been a problem. After that decision, she decided she needed to rebel as much as possible. She would wander the city at all hours, get into the same fights she used to try and talk Scott and Mason out of, and eventually got recruited by a local gang that frankly was kind of lightweight and mostly did some tagging and turf warring against other small gangs. So, no major dealings. They were sort of just misplaced people looking for other misplaced people to cling to. And she was fine with that. Then the breach happened, and everything collapsed. She'd soon be without even an adopted family, without a home, without her gang, and she'd have no clue if her closest friends were alive or not. Survival after the breach, especially in a major city, tends to require making very difficult and morally questionable decisions. But she's determined to last long enough to make a difference for a few others, even if it requires acting as their shield in a very literal manner. Eventually, she's sure to discover that she acts best as not a shield, but as a fulcrum for a larger movement, to change the world in favor of those she wishes to protect. So, that's Brooklyn. A simpler design than Scott and Mason were, but she's got a lot beneath the surface for you all to discover as I eventually bring you the Unleashed concept arts. I think I might start with that next time, actually. But, for now, this is Envoy of Kairos, signing out. I'll see you all in another 2 weeks for a fandom speed paint. Later, guys. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're looking to support me a little further, maybe get some bonus content or just keep up with me and other fans, you can find links down in the description leading to my Patreon, my Discord, and my Twitter. And if you're following me on Patreon, then you can expect some content polls to decide what's coming up on the channel yet. A little bit of background additions to some other series I've been working on, some more original and creative stuff. And who knows, if enough of you start supporting me soon, I might have a few other surprises up my sleeve too. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all again on the next video.